it's Netty again, and the Art Netty. Now, I'm crocheting at the moment a character called Bluey. I'll just insert a video in the corner there, so you can see who Bluey is. I didn't know, but apparently he's, as in Blue Healers, which used to be a TV show as well, but he's not anything to do with that. It's Aussie for police, isn't it? So, yeah, it's very cute. It's actually quite wholesome, and I've been asked to make a Bluey, and I thought there's some bits I've come across on this pattern which I thought might be helpful to someone else who's making it, and I just thought I'd make a video about it. I don't know if I'd post much about it on my Instagram, I got a short memory, but I do crochet, which I actually learnt off YouTube. I do knitting, which I've been doing for maybe about 39 years, and left-handed, and I learnt by watching my mum in the mirror, which apparently I find, the more I find out, the more that's how a lot of left-handers found out. So I'm just going to, I've not done a crochet video before, so this is new territory, and let's see how it goes. Anyway, more about this. If I can lean in, this is the pattern. I've printed it off. My printer seems to think it's okay to just put ink splats everywhere. It's by somebody called Chili Philly. I'll try and find all their links, and it's available on Bluey's official website, which is really generous, free to download. So that is quite rare with official characters. Now, the first thing that happened was, and I don't know if it's, I don't know how to explain that and put it into words, but you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different yarns that you need, which is just the right amount, but it's no bother, it's not dramatic or anything, but it's if I had a little problem, I wondered if anyone else did. So we got white, which is fine. White goes on the eyes and the eyebrows, black for his pupils and his nose, yellow for his snout and inside his ears. Now the blues is where and this is where I'm up to. I had to start again because I realised what I did, and I thought I'd make a video mostly about that, but as I go along and finish it, I'll see if there's any other things which need pointing out. But otherwise, it's a really easy to read pattern. I'd say it can be quite difficult, so for a beginner I don't think it'd be any good. You need to know a little bit more about crochet, I think. But I'm thinking if this goes well on this channel, I mean, I like to do all sorts of things. I get bored doing exactly the same thing all the time, so I do like to crochet as well. So the first thing I came across was, what I did was, on the labels I labelled them C1, C2 and C3. C1 is dark blue, C2 is blue, and then C3 is light blue.
Wrong.
And then the yellow was C4, and you just got white and black. Now, as far as I'm concerned with colours, that's dark blue, right? To me, that's blue, and that's light blue. But according to this, so you're making the main body in C1, right? So start the body in C1 only, which I found out was this one, but they're saying C1 is dark blue.
Wrong. He was so wrong.
So there's me thinking, right, so I've done, as you can see now, I am up to row 17 and row 18, which are just plain, but there's something I wanted to show you when row 19 starts, where you start doing this colour work again, so you change from one colour to another. Now, as you can see, that blue is, there is more there, that blue is already attached, ready, because I've been working on this. Now you won't see this because this is all going to be filled with stuff in and that, so no worries. Just make sure when you do this, and I'll say it again when I get to it, just make sure that you've not in, it's not going to be squished there. This is almost like Swiss darning. No, not Swiss darning at all. Swiss darning is when you sew onto a stitch over a stitch, okay? That's totally different. I think it's, I'm trying to think of the name, what it's called in knitting, intersaria, I think. Or if there's like maybe about 4 or more colours, it's ferile. You see the jumpers? Yeah. So I'm going to get on with row 17 and 18. Somewhere under the couch is my stitch counters. I have got an app which is great. I'll recommend the one I use. But I'm writing it down, I'm going old school. Right, so I'm using a stitch marker, and it is just, use this 50 stitches all around, or it should be 50, and we'll speed that up and you can watch. Now, as I'm crocheting, I'm left-handed. I would not copy the technique that I've developed. I'd watch some YouTubers do it who keep hold of the handle. Now, I find tension wise for me, the way that I crochet, it works well. Now, if you were to follow what I did, it wouldn't work for everyone. I think, just like, I guess, guitar playing, you develop your own style. I mean, if all guitarists played exactly the same way, they'd all sound the same, it'd be pretty boring. But if you look at all the different guitarists, they've all got different styles. I don't know why I'm comparing that to, it just came into my head, a comparison. If everyone did it the way I did it, it would look weird with some people, but I find this technique works for me because I've been knitting for so long, maybe, and then crocheting for maybe 4 years, something like that. So anyway, let's get on with row 17. So what I mean is, I insert the hook, wrap it round, and as you can see, I take my hand off the handle, which I've noticed a lot of YouTubers don't do that. Somehow they've still got hold of the hook, and they do it like really fast, and I'm quite a slow crocheter, but I like to take my time. Now, my favourite YouTuber to watch crochet wise is Alt Knots, and I'll put a banner here somewhere and I'll link you in the description. But yeah, so what I do is insert the hook round, see I've let go of the hook there, and then that's a single crochet in the UK. I think in American terms that's a double crochet. So I'm doing what I call single crochets. I don't know why the UK and the American terms are so different, but there we go. Right, okay, so I'll carry on round and we'll speed this up, okay? Now just when you get to this bit, it is a darker colour, even though it is blue, and this is supposed to be dark blue. I'm really confused by that. I found online there's some light up crochet hooks, but I find them very squeaky, especially on DK yarn. Now they are good for working on black and dark colours, but I find the more experienced you get at crochet, the better you are at picking out where it goes, where the hook goes through, and it shouldn't really be an issue anymore. You can kind of do this and then you can see where the hole is there. So right, let's carry on. So I hope you realise as watching that why this isn't a tutorial for this pattern, because I don't want people picking up on any of my dirty habits, but I do want to point out just some things which I thought might help with this pattern. So I thought if I'm coming across these and anyone else is doing this pattern, that I'm making the mistakes so you don't have to. Now the next thing I wanted to point out was going on to the next spot on his back, and obviously this involves changing colours. It's not too horrible because it's not too bad because it's only 2 colours. Some can be quite intimidating when it gets to 3 or more. But there's something I wanted to point out. I first noticed it when I had a pattern for Charlie Brown and Snoopy, and Charlie Brown's jumper is yellow and it's got that zigzag, not diagonal, zigzag pattern on the bottom of it in black, and with crochet it looked kind of, I'll see if I can find a photo of it, I might have one. It did sell though, someone bought it, but it looked really jagged and horrible. I didn't realise, and it doesn't say really in any pattern to do this because it would really confuse matters. This next row, if you started putting in this particular thing, that technique, the pattern would get awfully complicated. So they keep it like that, but it's almost like something you should know, but I've only found out from YouTube tutorials, so I'm hoping that this might help people who don't know, and it'll make the spots look so much better for doing it. And I used the same technique on the Charlie Brown jumper on the zigzag pattern. Now it's like that, but I have put obviously a screenshot up. I found it looked much better for doing this particular thing. So we're on row 19. I've got to 46. They're calling it double crochet because I think it's American, even though this is a Australian. Can anybody tell me watching this? So do Australians use American terminology for crochet as well? Because I'm just looking now, a mini panic attack, and it is what British call single crochet. Thank goodness for that. Because double crochet is different again. Now I think it's something we call a treble crochet, you call something else as well. There we are. Wouldn't it be so much easier if it was just the same? when you're, you know, Americanization in patterns and you're doing a UK pattern, that must be confusing again. Because you'd be, what's a single crochet? But I'm sure everyone's used to it by now, but at first it must be pretty annoying. So anyway, row 19, I'm just going to do 46 what I call single crochets in there, and I'll join you after this bit up bit. Right, so I've got to stitch, it says 46 in colour 2, but I've got to stitch 45. Now the reason why I've done that is because, let's get rid of that. The reason I've done that is because this is going to start with this colour. To the end of it, there we go. "45, 46. Right, so on the last stitch, before you start the 2 stitches in C1, stitch 46, I'm going to do half a stitch. Then I'm going to join on C1. I'm going to join on C1 there and complete the stitch in that colour. Now when you look, you can see the top of it is in the old colour. If I was to have done the rest of the stitch in the original colour, it would look weird, so it just makes it that much neater to do half of the stitch in the new colour. So 46, and then you do 2 stitches in C1. So what I do, just for neatness, is to put that back there and carry that other colour, the main colour I'll call it, over there behind your work, so it sits like that behind the work. And we've got 1, and then it's only 2 stitches, do half in this dark colour. So only half the stitch on the second stitch, and then swap over again to your main colour and complete that stitch with that. And it's going to look so much neater for doing so. And to finish that off, you just need 2 stitches. And this waste bit of yarn here, just so it doesn't fray in the future or whatever, I'm just going to carry on and neaten that at the back, and it won't be seen at all, completely invisible. So let's get to the end of the row, and that's row 19 complete. So we're on row 20 now, so let's do that together as well. to do is row 20, 45 stitches in colour 2. So that's the first one there. Just mark that. I'm not living dangerously with this project because you need to be able to count the stitches and keep it in place. So I'll meet you at, it's 45 stitches, I'll meet you at stitch 44. So I've reached stitch 44 of 45 there. So again, stitch 45 is just going to be doing half of that stitch, completing that stitch with the next colour, making sure that if you've done it like me, to make sure that at the back it's not going to clump or crumple, whatever you want to call it. It's not, it would look really nasty and untidy, so make sure you complete that stitch there. Stitch 45, is it? Yeah, stitch 45 is completed in the next colour. So it's completely invisible at the front that you've swapped the colour, and it makes it so much neater, see? So it wants 4 stitches in this dark, what I call a darker colour. I've really got a bee in my bonnet about that, haven't I? And then 1, 2, I haven't really. 3. And as I am, if you want a stitch through there, and as I am, I'm carrying that colour on as well. And then stitch 4, you only want to do half in that colour, and then complete that stitch with the other colour there. So it just makes a nice neat row there. It's going to look much neater, I think. And then we just need 1 stitch there, and we completed row 20. Done. So I'm going to carry on. Now if there's anything in particular I think I want to include in this video, I'll meet you there after a transition. If not, I mean there's quite a few pages we shall see. Maybe the pupils, something like that. But I'll meet you at the end. Let's see. Probably the fingers might need something. But we shall see. I'll see if there's anything that I think needs pointing out. And I'll meet you there. Otherwise, I'm going to carry on and we'll see the finished result. I'm up to row 28. And then 29, 30 and 31 are exactly the same. Now I thought I'd made a mistake again. I've made quite a few mistakes. I had to actually redo the whole thing, unfortunately. Now if I insert the picture, you'll see that the 2 shades of blue are on the opposite panels. So that will be where his, let's have a look at him. That'll be where his eyes go. And the ears on the top. So I thought, as per usual with a crochet teddy, that you'd start at the bottom and work upwards. There was no instruction to say that you start at the top or the bottom that was me assuming. So I mucked up the colours, got them the wrong way round, and should have trusted really that it was right in the end. So my fault, but it would have been nice if it said you're starting at the bottom or the top, which is what a pattern usually does. They usually tell you you're starting at the top of the head and then you get to such and such. But it depends, whoever writes the pattern, that's their style. So it's not a, I'm not slagging this off, by the way. So it was correct in that's dark blue. It works out that that is dark blue. That's C1. C2 is blue, and then you've got the light. Now, where I've got up to, you can see his spots on his back there, and this confused me again. It doesn't take much to confuse me. So you can see that's his belly there. There's a panel that's going to be sewn over that in the lighter blue. I think this just counts as where a marker as to where the panel is going to go.
Wrong. He was so wrong.
Or maybe it was in the original pattern that his tummy was dark blue.
Here we go again.
Kept it like that and then changed it later and added a tummy panel maybe. Now the other thing that I had to note is that when you're working the stitches, you only go in the front loop. Unless otherwise specified, you go in the front loop only. It can sometimes be back loop only, but this is front loop only unless it says otherwise. Now I find this changes the inside, which you can't see, which is a shame, but it does look really nice. I do like it. It makes like a really nice pattern actually, but you don't get to see it because this bit is going to be inside and it's going to be stuffed. But yeah, so a few things to note there. Follow the pattern as it is. Trust that they've got the colours right, because I didn't. Make sure you're crocheting into the front loop only rather than both. That's the effect that you're looking for. And what else was there? Not much really. So I'm just going to carry on now and do row 28. Okay, so I'm back at row 29 now. I've rescued that there, it's in the right colour. It does look a lot more vibrant than in person on camera for some reason. So that'll be where the eyes go there. And then his muzzle there, and that's the belly. So you turn that over and you've got his spots there on his back, and that's the end of the on row 29. Sorry, 28 was the last time you used C1 on the body. So my next rows are 29 to 31. So you've just got C2, which is the medium blue, and C3, which is the lighter blue. And then that's for 3 rows, 29, 30, 31. Then you start to stuff the body. You can put a cardboard disc in it. I'll see with and without to see what it's like. So fill with teddy bear filling, and then you start to decrease to make the bottom of his bum there. And then we'll see anyway. I'll get to the bit with the cardboard and see if it's better with or without. I guess it's so you can sit him down. But I don't know how old the child is I'm making this for, but we'll see. That's if you want it to be sitting down all the time, I guess, for display, but I suppose a kid is going to want to cuddle it. So I'm going to probably leave the cardboard out. But just for the sake of this video, I want to see what it looks like with and without before closing up the body and doing rows 32 to 36. Okay, so I've done the ears. Now, I didn't really understand the instructions in the pattern. Again, it's maybe me just being a bit dense, I don't know. But it was, I followed it 2 separate bits for the inside and the outside, and then it was attaching them. So what I did was I crocheted the outer to the inner and then sewed them on, but I didn't really understand. Follow this with 5 slip stitches, that's that bit, out from the base. Follow this with 5 slip stitches back to the other side of the inner ear, creating a triangular base. I did it wrong, but I hope it looks like her. Then the snout was, the snout I didn't understand either really. I think it doesn't really look like that, does it? But I tried to make it look more like a snout with the muzzle there. But it's beginning to look like her. I'm just going to give her a smile. And I think the next bit is the tail, then the eyes, and she'll be able to see them, won't you? Yeah. Okay, so where was I up to last? I don't know. Bluey's got hands now anyway. They were quite fun to do. I do like the effect of the fingers, so that was good. He's got, it's a she, isn't it? Sorry, Bluey. She's got a tail now as well. I can't believe how much more vivid the colours are on the video compared to in real life. That's very strange. So, she also has legs now as well. This was fun to do. So, there's a flat piece that you crochet first, and then you crochet around that and then build it up, and then obviously decrease there. And I've done similar with that with a bralette with my sis-in-law to be. So that was a similar technique there, but obviously it's not a bralette, it's the soles of the feet. So I guess we'll sew her legs on, and that's it finished. But before I finish it, what I want to do is, see these edges here? Just neaten them up a little bit with some, what's it called? Chain stitch around the edges. Oh yeah! Some chain stitch around the edges. I think this is new as well, the eyebrows. But yeah, just to see, neaten up those edges a little bit. I think looks a bit crap, so we'll see what that looks like anyway. Okay, so she's got her legs now. I've put them in a position so that she can sit like that. And what I want to do next is, what I want to do next is the nose. I've noticed it needs to be a bit more like that. It's supposed to be a little bit like upturned, I think. So I'm just going to put some little stitches in there, which will hopefully make it look a bit more like Bluey. Right, so I've done around the edges of the snout in, you can see, chain stitch. And what I've done is I've chain stitched around the eyes as well. Now, probably if I was to do this one again, I'd use coloured white and black felt to make the eyes. I don't know if you can see the difference. See how unneat that is really. And then this one is what I think I did wrong. Going back to the pattern. Eyebrows, eyes. I've got a habit, call it a dirty habit if you will, of chain 2 to 6. See, it says free double crochet and chain. I'd say do put that chain in because it makes a heck of a difference. It will make it a lot neater. When I should do it. It doesn't count as a stitch, but do that because as you can see from mine, it doesn't look as good as this one. So yeah. And I also wanted to show, you can see that the row ends are out there. So what I do is I get one of these needles and it's got a notch in the end there. And what I like to do is, it makes a difference with that notch for some reason, but just poke them in like that. And you won't even know that they are there. And I'd say don't or seldom ever put knots because it tends to bunch up your work. So that's all hidden nice now. There like that, and I'm just going to do the other eye the same, and I think that's it then. I think she's finished. Okay, so Bluey's finished there. John, I'm on the video. Okay, so Bluey is finished now. Ears, and see I've chain stitched around the eyes and the nose. Hey, get out of the way. So I reckon anyone could do 1,000,000 times better with that than I've done. But yeah, give it a go. It's a good pattern. It's just, for me, I think... Oh, by the way, is this a catchphrase from the TV show? For real life? I don't know. Let me know. Snout. So my tips for this is... Sorry about the shadow. My tips for this is read all of the instructions first. It does say this is very difficult. Is that another saying from the show? Because I don't know. Prior crochet experience is needed. I'd say that is a true statement. Now all the project is done in front loop only, unless it's otherwise specified. There is a bit of the foot on the bottom that is bottom loop only. So do make sure that you read everything through first, obviously. But yeah, the snout, I did probably the shape of it wrong, but it seems to be right there. See how it seems to be short there and then long there. Well, and what I should have done is the brown with the mouth as well, but I did not. So I've done that wrong. I'd probably recommend if you can find a very sharp needle, I wouldn't recommend glue really, but you can do if you want, depends who's getting it. Felt, white and black felt for the eyes, because they'll look the business with that on. The ears, again, I had a little bit of trouble with that, but nothing too bad. Obviously I started the video with the body the wrong way, because I misunderstood that it was starting, was it top to bottom, and I thought there was no clue of it. It didn't say you're starting bottom to top or whatever, but that was just me misunderstanding that. And the eyebrows, that was easy enough. The fingers, that was nice and easy to follow. The tail, it does say to do it in one piece. I did it in the round just because I didn't want the seam there, but I mean, follow the pattern, whatever, do it how you like. It's your one that you're making. The eyes, obviously I had a bit of trouble with. Do make sure that you do the chains on the end. They do not count as a stitch. Pupils, again, yeah, that like I say, it'd be a lot, I guess, a lot easier. You've got to be a really neat sewer is all I'd say if you're doing felt eyes. And then the legs, they were so easy as well, and it should look like that. Like I say, anyone could do it a million times better than I have, but I thought it might be quite helpful to do a video because there was some bits that I struggled on, even though I've been crocheting for a little while now. What else do I have to say? Oh yeah, so this pattern is free on the Bluey website, and I shall pop a link to that in the description below. And thank you ever so much for watching. I suppose if you want more crochet videos, do let me know, I guess. I think the next one I'll be kind of reviewing, but not really, and it's not going to be a tutorial really, is, I'm going to insert a picture of it somewhere here on the screen, is a Nightmare Before Christmas cross stitch kit, and it's to do all the characters off it. I do believe that there's a Stranger Things one as well, I think from the same people, I'm not sure. Okay, thanks for now, bye. You're a firework.